Imagine what it'd be like to get paid what you're actually worth. This video is for those of you who are ready to challenge the way you think about salary negotiations as well as your market value in general. And it doesn't matter if you're staying at the same job and you want to increase your compensation at your current company, or you're job searching and thinking how you can successfully negotiate your pay before signing a job offer. Word of warning, this is not going to be one of those videos where I share some kind of a magic recipe, nor am I going to talk about those conventional negotiation tips you've probably Googled 100 times. The approach I'm going to be sharing is about challenging your own way of thinking more than anything else. So keep watching till the end and let me know what you think. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for being here. I'm Anna from CV Labs. I'm a career coach, and in my videos I talk about how to get you hired for that fantastic job you want and of course deserve. If you want to make the most out of your career and get regular tips for your personal and professional development, make sure to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Doesn't cost anything but helps us to stay in touch. This is going to be another video that I'm filming on a hike in the mountains. I mean, look at this. By the way, let me know if you enjoy this type of format while we're going on walks and hikes together, while chatting about job search, career development, personal development, and other cool things. Or do you prefer more static videos where there's just my talking head in the picture? I'd love your feedback, so start typing in the comments. So, salary negotiations, definitely one of the hottest topics in the context of job search and career growth in general. Let's start with what most people do when it comes to salary negotiations. And the two options that I have for you are not super promising. One of them is people don't negotiate at all, and there have been a few surveys and studies that prove that fact. Or they negotiate quite poorly. And unfortunately, I can attest to that based on my personal experience coaching job seekers on their interviewing skills. So one of the studies that I really liked was published in Forbes, and they showed that around 70% of hiring managers expect some kind of a compensation and benefits negotiation after extending an initial job offer, but most of them don't explicitly state that that's the fact. So with that in mind, 46% of men do take the risk and try to negotiate. So we're at about a half mark here, compared to only 34% of women. And that's quite a difference, especially considering that stats show that countering an initial job offer on average raises your your starting wage by over 7%. This weather is awesome, by the way, you guys. I'm so lucky to live close to the mountains. Back to salary negotiations. Why the most common negotiation advice doesn't work? Well, what is the most common negotiation advice? It is that you have to gather some hard data so that you can justify the specific number or the specific percentage that you want to have your compensation increased by. Again, current company or when signing a job offer, doesn't matter. People want you to present some valid reasons for that type of increase, why that specific number. And there are quite a few challenges with that approach. One is lack of market data, because let's be honest, depending on the field or the industry, sometimes even if you Google the heck out of it, you simply don't have enough compensation and benefits data to form, that kind of an argument. The second challenge is that even with that argument, you may still face a ton of rejection inside the organization. And people might use reasons like, you cannot get paid more than your boss, or a person who is at a higher level in the organizational chart, which again, let's be honest, isn't always connected to how much value that person adds to the business and your market value either. Or things like, we've never granted such an increase to anyone else before, which again, so what? Doesn't mean that this is not, or this shouldn't be the case in this specific situation. And the last challenge is, which a lot of people ask me about as well, is how do I define my value? Because let's say you define your value one way, but your boss defines it differently. So how can you reconcile, even with all of those common tips and strategies and tactics and hacks that you read online about salary negotiations. If those conventional tips or tactics don't work, what can you try instead? Before we go there, let me just show you something. I'm in the middle of a lake. Look at that. This is Banff National Park. Okay, I'm not a videographer, but I think this is pretty great. Check out the view. So, if the conventional tricks and tactics don't work, what can you try instead? Even if you want to stay at your current organization, or you found the winner in your job search, the winner opportunity, what I recommend you do is go out there and land a competing offer. Maybe even more than one, but at least one offer, and use that competing offer during your salary negotiations. An important side note here, it has to be a real offer, not an imaginary one. Lying about it is not going to help. Quite the opposite. I think you're going to have a very negative effect. And another thing is, when I say use a competing offer in your negotiations, I don't mean bullying. I don't mean throwing the job offer in your boss's face or in the hiring manager's face. I mean being honest and upfront about your intentions, about your excitement of joining this organization or continuing working in this organization, but using that offer as a way to showcase your market value, as valid proof of not just your subjective opinion of why you deserve a raise and why that kind of raise, but actually the market has spoken for you, and you're simply using that as a way to demonstrate your value. Like any solution out there, it comes with its pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Even if it's not about the offer, let's talk about the interviewing process. While you're going to different interviews, you're gonna, one way or the other, find some real life information of what type of compensation you might be able to achieve there, which is way better than some I know a friend who knows a friend and that's what he gets paid, or some vague super broad interval that you found on Google. So anyway, you're getting some real life salary data that is specific to you. That's the key here. It's specific to your particular level of experience, skill set, the way you present yourself, and all those different factors. Odds are you're going to be talking to recruiters in that process. What do recruiters have? Information. They usually have a pretty good market overview in your industry, or even specific to your field or your profession, which is great. Again, real life data on salary levels, on what type of compensation you might be able to obtain there, what's realistic and what isn't. Recruiters are great advisors for that. And last but not least, when you get a competing offer, or even when you're going through interviews, you're boosting your confidence, because instead of having to prove yourself, the market proves everything for you. So pretty much you realize, I'm in demand, the market has spoken, and you feel a lot more confident and calm going into compensation negotiations with your current boss or with a prospective future boss, so the hiring manager. Now come the cons of this approach. A very obvious one is that you're going to have to work for that. So getting a real job offer, a competing job offer, isn't that easy. So you're going to have to get up and do some work to make that happen. And the second one is that if things go south, which they still might, you gotta be ready to walk away. No matter what kind of amazing offer you get, no matter what happens, and no matter how understanding your current or future boss is, they may not be ready to give you whatever you want just to keep you either inside the organization or to keep you in the interviewing process. So it might, no matter how convincing you are, it might come down to them saying, you know what, I think that is a better option for you. And in that case, you've got to be ready to walk away. Because imagine, in that situation, if you're kind of secretly hoping that they're gonna do whatever you want to make you stay, and they don't, they will see right away that you're not confident in your strategy and you were not seriously considering that competing offer as a good opportunity for you, which pretty much ruins the idea of this whole thing. While we're on the subject of landing new job offers, I have another video that covers the key things you need to know before accepting a new job. That video, I think it's called How to Accept a Job Offer, one of the most watched videos on my channel. I link to it in the description down below. Make sure to check it out. Guys, when I was recording this video, I realized that we've covered things of what not to do with the competing offer, but I didn't exactly tell you how you can use that in the most effective way to actually get a pay raise or successfully negotiate a higher salary. So the catch here is to find a balance between establishing trust with the other party, be it your existing boss or a hiring manager, a person you've never worked with before, openly disclosing the reasons why you're particularly interested in this opportunity, not the competing one. So the reasons why this opportunity is actually your top priority. Again, if it's your current job, reasons why you're excited to stay, why you really want to make it work with them. If it's a new opportunity, reasons why this opportunity is a winner for you at this point. Being open about the competing offer, which is also very rare, so openly disclosing the level of pay that you were offered elsewhere and asking if there's a way that they could match this opportunity. So that, there's a very thin line here, and it's not an easy thing to say out loud for some people. And some people might even have an issue with disclosing that fact in the first place. But the fact that you've come to this person, to the hiring manager or your current boss, openly telling them what's going on, what you've been up to, that maybe you've been approached by someone and it seems like what you're currently getting paid is not exactly at the same level as the market. If your boss wants you to stay, if that is truly the right organization for you, that should get them thinking, what can we do to make it work together, to make this person stay, because they're so committed to us that before walking away, which they could have done by now, they're actually looking for solutions together with us. And that is also a great signal of loyalty, commitment, your interest, and all those great things that really matter in this sort of negotiation. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again soon.